I would like to, although I appreciate everything that was presented here today, I want to ask for an outside forensic audit.
Okay, well, we can get into that. Actually, I think I made note of it. I think back in Mr. Dice's presentation, I believe you said that there were additional steps that we could take on this, but you indicated in there that cost versus benefit was something to consider here.
It's on page 21.
21? All right. Actually, we're sort of going into deliberation. I think we should go with questions at this point. I think you've voiced your opinion. I made note of some of the similar type things I think here. So probably if there are questions, I guess is where we should be right now with staff. So Councilmember, or do you have any questions, Councilmember Ali?
It's a very thorough report. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Councilmember Ridenhour.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff. Thank you, Bob, for this report. I have a few questions and then comments later on when we come back. Did you see, Bob, in your research, the significance you talked about reducing staffing, turnovers, and whatnot? Was you able to calculate in your mind that had a factor in this occurring?
I think it couldn't help but have a factor in this occurring. There was a period of time where there was one buyer, and that was it. And it was a buyer that probably could have been better trained. So there were periods of time where staff left, replacements did not occur for a while, and it was very short-staffed, and I can't help but think that had an impact. Is that the only reason? No, because we know that when staff was here, they obviously did some inappropriate things, but
right.
Definitely contributes.
All right. On slide 10, you had shared responsibility. Give me a little bit more on what that looks like in your new proposal. That's slide number 10.
How that looks like is the recommendation I made where the departments have a role in controlling their contracts and making sure that they conform with municipal code. So they have a responsibility. They own that first gatekeeper role. Second is they're provided the tools to actually perform that job. That includes some management reports, some tickler reports. Those have been developed by your director of finance. Third is this committee that I mentioned where the department head would appoint one person that's responsible for purchasing and contract compliance in their department. And they're part of a team that will work with purchasing, and it will be a shared responsibility in ensuring that we're complying with code, but still getting the business of the city done, purchasing goods and services, etc.
Right. And that includes system-wide, general fund, other gas utilities, every system in the city that includes this shared responsibility with the department heads as well.
Absolutely.
And going back to the committee or the group that we would put together, or you're recommending that we put together, how big is that group? I'm trying to figure out, is it somebody from each department, I assume.
Right.
And tell me how, give me just a better explanation on how that would look like.
Well, there'd be one person per department that will be held accountable. They may want to bring somebody else along for the larger department, but one person is held accountable for being the expert. The purchasing rules and procedures, the manual will be updated. These folks will all participate in a training program. This is the criteria for sole source. These are some examples that don't meet that criteria. Here are some examples